Why is it that we seem to be fixated on these controversial YouTubers? We don't seem to be able to look away. You know, many people will watch these controversial figures and say, if only we didn't watch them, if only no one entertained them and no one mentioned their names, then they would just go away. But yet it seems as if that's just not possible. Of course, this thing is not just YouTube streamers, Twitch streamers. This is a sensation you could see that has been part of the human, I guess, component. It's part of what we are, even going as far as back in the olden days when they had plays and performances and stuff, right? It was the stage that had the spectacle, the drama, okay, right? Yeah. People are entertained by that. They're enticed by that. They're drawn to what is controversial. Now, as far as YouTubers go, streamers go, why the chat? Why we cannot help but watch them, even though we might be repulsed and all that. Might be flat out disgusted by the things that they do. You know, it might even be real life stuff, but it's not really just kayfabe or just fake and all that stuff. But even then, that's not enough to push us away. We still watch. In the digital age, some could argue that attention is currency. And that obviously, if you're controversial, you're going to draw a lot of attention. Controversy draws attention. It always has, always will. And so the things like shock, things that you could do that could cause shock, indignation, evoke curiosity, those are things that, well, will benefit you if you know how to play them. If there's something about what you do that's controversial, well, lean into it and you'll get more views. Oh, you have to sacrifice your dignity. But performers always do that, don't they? At least a lot of them do. Like your comedians. Whether you're stand-up comedians or the people like Will Ferrell or Chris Farley will do all sorts of embarrassing things just for the sake of entertainment. And sometimes people have to ask, where is the limit? Well, I mean, when you're looking for attention, there may not be a limit. And then you have the thing that YouTube itself promotes it. Because if a streamer gets a lot of views for controversial reasons, that things that do with their family and whatever, okay, let's say like the Thorps, then no matter what you guys say, no matter what the concerned citizens say and want to do, YouTube will promote them because they get the views. So YouTube will put them in the algorithm higher. Because they get the views, they get the likes, they get the shares. They draw the attention there. It's very simple. So YouTube will promote it. And then it plays on us on a psychological level. There's something about us that we seem drawn to things like, oh man, all right, well, let's just use the Thorps. Their dirty laundry, the stuff that they do. Does this family really have these problems? Is it all fake? Is it all real? What's happening here? You know, the opinions that Ben voices, he lets out. Is this real? The things he says about minors and young girls and stuff, is that a real thing? Same thing about Mr. Girl, the stuff he says, okay? People want to watch to be like, okay, what's really going on here? They're sort of drawn to that and see what the fuss is about and maybe form their own opinion or even form a little community around it. It could evolve into that. And that has. Like, let's say with the Thorps, there is a community of those that are like the concerned citizens type. There's different degrees of them. And there's ones that are like more trolls, and there's ones that are the glazers. There's ones that are just casual watchers, okay? But there's like these little communities, and there's a community, and then within the community, there's like within that, those little communities. Okay, you could look at that and get really detailed into it, but it comes off of the controversy. It comes off of what the Thorps are, their draw, the reason why people want to watch them. Okay, yeah, there is the controversy there. It reels them in, and that in itself is entertaining. But the stuff they get into can also be entertaining as well. And because it's real life stuff, at any moment, there could be like a development or a happening, if you will, which keeps people like me and others that are like kind of watching it for like a deeper reasons, maybe some Schadenfreude there. Obviously, I'll admit that for sure. It keeps us watching to see what's going to happen next. Then itself also kind of is fueled by the community that's forms, around them because of that. It's a marketing strategy. Yeah. It is definitely a marketing strategy, which is, I noticed a response that some people have regarding the drama is that it seems some people think that it's strategic, like it's done on purpose. Okay. I mean, the argument against that is like, well, these are things that are just happening. And yeah, the byproduct is that because it's controversial, it is going to get that draw, which will give them the attention, which will feed for the views, the likes, the subscriptions, all of that. Even now, they get, what do you call it? When members, they get paid members now and stuff like that. So so it could be that they are just innately controversial because of what they are, and that is not strategic, but it just so happens to work out for them because being controversial gets you views, and everything else follows from that. I've noticed a growing amount of people not seem to even care about the controversy. All they want is to be entertained. All they want is, because here in this case, the controversy also, in this case, the Thorps have created another, I guess, a community around, I guess, being anti-Keemstar. Okay, so if you have a bone to pick with Keemstar, if you don't like Locale Live and what's happening there, well, then it makes whatever the Thorps are in your mind more palatable because they don't like they don't like who you don't like, which, okay, you could watch them dab on the person you don't like. Now I know they've been trying to rebrand and all that stuff, and okay, but there's still that element there. I mean, obviously, Locale Rejects is a huge reason why they have became more successful lately. Now with controversy and with controversial figures, there becomes this thing of like viewer fatigue, right? Eventually people get tired of it, right? I mean, sometimes like the drama can get old, can get stale. And that's actually, I notice, another thing that has happened lately when it comes to the dirtiest of the dirty laundry with the Thorps. It seems like those that know, there's some that know it exists, but just don't really care because it happened so long ago, and it's like they're done with it. They're done with it. Absolutely, they don't really seem to be entertaining it, and that can happen with some. And of course, there's others that no, they're not going to let that go. And there's some that are just going to hold on to that, and that is what the Thorps are. They're disgusting. They're sick, but yet they're still watching them, at least keeping tabs on them because they're curious about what's to unfold. Now, they may justify in their own mind that I'm not really watching them all this stuff because I don't really want to support them or whatever, but they are engaging by even casually watching. But there are times when Okay, so let's say Ben and Grace don't have any more interesting bits between them. No more like weird dynamics that emerge. No more happenings. No more little things. That would be like a fairy tale. But let's say that happened. Would would it change? Like, would people not view them? I could not really imagine that. I could not. I could not. Like, that would be a situation where we're talking about where, like, let's say Ben and Grace no longer had any. Let's just say they were able to put on a professional show and not have any problems emerge between them for like a year. Well, then the controversial element of it would wane. It would, at that point, if that were to happen, those that were watching for the the controversy, what's happening with these people, this family, this father daughter duo, they would find something else. They would get tired. But that is a hypothetical that I just don't think is realistic. Sometimes it's funny, even now, to kind of notice Ben getting kind of a little irritated at Grace. That happens. That happens. It's kind of funny to note that. Um, Now there are those that just get tired of it completely, though. Like they themselves get tired of it. But they get tired of the drama, the controversy, and they want to seek out more wholesome or intellectual content or whatever. That's if the content becomes a little too frequent and too repetitive and all that, and it's like, okay, well, I want something else. Yeah, that can happen. There's even ethical concerns. That would be, you could see that from those that like say they don't really want to watch them because it gives them support, yet they're commenting about the Thorpes, so they are kind of aware and all that stuff. But there are people who know about, let's say, a controversial streamer or YouTuber, but and don't really want to engage because of concerns of ethics. Okay, all right, that's fair enough. But while that is there, I mean, you got to do you on that one. You got to be, you have to be comfortable with your choices on that. Where I stand anymore is like, these people aren't me. They're not my family. And there's no amount of moral let's say moral outrage or concerned citizenry or Karen behavior that's going to change anything. In fact, if anything, two of those things I mentioned, people should not even be engaging in anyway, no matter what, because it's not your family. It's not even you. And it's just, okay. Yeah, it is that. And is it disgusting to watch it for entertainment purposes? Yeah, you could say that. I mean, it's greasy. Sure, yeah. But people love grease. People love cooking with grease. Grease cooks a lot of great things. You could deep fry a lot of good stuff, and people love deep fried food. All right, so I mean, people could be like, it's outrage. It'll be all outrage for people like myself and others that are find that content entertaining, but they're lying to themselves when they say they don't find it entertaining, because everyone likes deep fried food, man, and you need grease to deep fry it. So, like, that's my look at this. So why is it that we are drawn to controversy? Because we love it. Because we love it. That's why. That's why. We could lie to ourselves and say we don't, but we do. I mean, you could argue with me about that. But the thing is, every time you do, or if you choose to do, no matter what you say in the comments, the fact is, people are drawn to it. When I say people, I mean hundreds, thousands of people are drawn to controversy all the time. All the time. No matter what it is. Controversial figures get a lot of attention. And there's only certain things that seem to really just shut it down. And that would be like things to do with kids. Now, someone's going to say, oh, but Ben and all this stuff in his family. Yeah. That's why in his situation, it is very curious why no one seems to care. Oh, but people do care. There's more people that don't care than they are that care. That's the truth of that. There's more people that don't care than care. Ain't my family. Ain't my family. Anyway, with that said, you guys let me know what you think about this in the comments section. Should be pretty interesting. I'll take it easy and have a good one.